7 Star Trek Voyager problems. Chakotay's return can fix Captain Chakotay's Robert Beltran return in Star Trek. Prodigy can fix 7 problems that the USS Voyager left in the Delta Quadrant in Star Trek Voyager. As the USS Voyager crew blazed a trail through the Delta Quadrant on their 70,000 light-year journey back to Earth, Captain Catherine Janeway, Kate Mulgrew, sometimes had to play pretty fast and loose with Star Trek's Prime Directive, leaving problems in Voyager's wake. With a lifetime of travel ahead and no guarantee that wormholes or anomalies would speed up the trip, Janeway couldn't stay long, and follow-up missions were just about impossible. Star Trek Prodigy's USS Protostar was originally commanded by Captain Chakotay on a mission to return to the Delta Quadrant and fix the problems caused by Voyager's homeward trip. A temporal anomaly diverted the Protostar, leaving Captain Chakotay stranded on the planet Solum in an alternate 25th century future timeline. In Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, Chakotay returns not only to his proper timeline, but also the captain's chair of the USS Voyager A after Admiral Janeway's retirement. If Chakotay takes Voyager on the Protostar's original mission, there are still problems in the Delta Quadrant that could benefit from a follow-up. It's unlikely that the same civilization on the unnamed planet from Star Trek Voyager Season 6, Episode 12, Blink of an Eye is still there, since the planet existed in its own unique flow of time. But it's not entirely impossible. Voyager's presence as the skyship contaminated the civilization's entire existence and inspired its people to explore the stars in hopes of reaching the USS Voyager someday. First contact was achieved, but the alien world would have to overcome the time differential in order to participate in the wider galactic society. At the rate that the society from Blink of an Eye develops, the technology to mitigate temporal differences might actually be developed by the time Chakotay gets back to the Delta Quadrant. Voyager's presence may have been a net positive instead of an actual problem, but there's no denying that the Prime Directive was completely tossed out with this culture, so it's worth a follow-up. It's been brought up before as a joke, but the truth is that the offspring of LT, Tom Paris, Robert Duncan McNeil, and Captain Janeway are still out there in the Delta Quadrant, abandoned by parents who turned back into 24th century humans and went on their merry way. Ostensibly, the salamander babies are the product of an evolutionary leap for humanity, so they're probably sentient, which raises questions. How do they feel about this? What have they done in the meantime? Could they, like Paris and Janeway, be transformed into bipedal humans? With Captain Chakotay's return to the Delta Quadrant, there's a real chance to recontextualize and improve the nonsensical third act of Threshold, and make one of Star Trek Voyager's weirdest episodes actually matter in the long run. Maybe one of the salamander babies in a grown-up human form joins the Voyager crew, hoping to explore the galaxy and find out where they truly belong. In Star Trek Voyager Season 4, Episode 24, Demon, the USS Voyager crew let biomimetic silver-blood aliens from a Demon-class planet copy them in order to experience life as organic beings. Star Trek Voyager caught up with the silver blood from Demon in a rare Star Trek sequel episode, Season 5's Course, Oblivion, so we as the audience know about the tragic fate that befell the Voyager crew's copies. The crew themselves never learned that their doubles died. As the loyal first officer aboard the USS Voyager, Commander Chakotay became a fan favorite, providing not only stability in the midst of a turbulent journey, but also depth through his cultural heritage, personal philosophy, and moral dilemmas. His character, played by Robert Beltran, was key in navigating some of the crew's most trying moments. Yet several of Voyager's inherent issues, either plot-driven or character-based, could have been enriched or resolved if Chakotay were to return in a new Star Trek series, such as Star Trek, Prodigy, or another project. Let's explore 7 problems from Voyager that Chakotay's return can help fix. 1. The Maquis integration problem. One of the key promises of Voyager was the conflict between the Starfleet crew and the Maquis members that were forced to join them after being stranded in the Delta Quadrant. Chakotay, as the former leader of the Maquis, was pivotal in uniting these two factions. While the tension was emphasized in early seasons, it was almost completely abandoned by the middle of the series. Chakotay's return could revive this long-neglected theme by exploring the deeper implications of the Maquis integration, especially as tensions with the Cardassians have escalated in other Star Trek shows like Picard. What happened to those Maquis survivors? How does Chakotay feel about the Federation's treatment of them post-Voyager? His return would be a natural way to delve into those political consequences. 2. Filling in the missing post-Voyager years. Voyager ended with a hurried conclusion, where the ship finally returns home to Earth. But viewers never get a sense of how the crew adjusted to life post-Delta Quadrant. Chakotay's own future was briefly touched upon in alternate timelines in the novelization, but the show never explored his life back in the Alpha Quadrant. Did Chakotay remain in Starfleet, or did he go on to explore other passions, like the archaeology he once loved? His return could provide closure for both his character and the Voyager crew, answering questions about how they readjusted to life after years of being lost. It would be especially poignant to explore how someone like Chakotay, who has often resisted traditional authority structures, would cope with returning to the bureaucratic Federation. 3. Janeway Chakotay dynamic development. One of the great unresolved dynamics on Voyager was the relationship between Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay. While their bond was one of mutual respect, and at times hinted at deeper feelings, it never fully blossomed into the relationship that many fans speculated about. Chakotay's return could offer an opportunity to revisit this dynamic, especially now that Admiral Janeway has become an even more formidable figure within Starfleet. Star Trek Prodigy showcases her still active and influential. How would Chakotay and Janeway's relationship evolve now that they are back in a more familiar setting? Could their professional bond turn into something more personal? His return would allow for these lingering emotional arcs to find resolution. 4. Revisiting the impact of the Equinox incident. One of Voyager's most intense storylines was the discovery of the USS Equinox, another Federation ship stranded in the Delta Quadrant, which was willing to sacrifice alien lives to get home faster. This incident tested Janeway's morality and leadership, but it also strained her relationship with Chakotay, who disagreed with her more ruthless approach to dealing with the Equinox crew. Chakotay's return could revisit the moral implications of this episode, reflecting on how this moment affected his relationship with Starfleet's values. Did his moral code become more hardened, or did he come to understand Janeway's actions? By exploring this, we could get deeper insight into Chakotay's evolution as a character and how he balances his own ethics against the needs of Starfleet. 5. A deeper exploration of Chakotay's spirituality. Throughout Voyager, Chakotay's spirituality and his connection to his Native American heritage were explored, but often in ways that felt underdeveloped or based on stereotypes. With modern storytelling taking a more nuanced approach to cultural representation, Chakotay's return offers an opportunity to explore his spiritual side in greater depth. How have his experiences in the Delta Quadrant and his return to the Alpha Quadrant influenced his beliefs? Chakotay's journey could take on a more introspective arc, exploring not only his own spiritual evolution, but also addressing how other cultures, alien and human, have influenced his worldview. This could also provide an opportunity to correct some of the more simplistic portrayals of his heritage, offering a more authentic and respectful representation. 6. Closure on the 7 of 9 romance. In the final season of Voyager, a sudden and rather forced romantic relationship between Chakotay and 7 of 9 was introduced. Fans found this pairing jarring, as it felt out of place and rushed. Chakotay's return could provide the necessary closure on this relationship,